He carried humanity's banner alone. And the stars, the Galactic Council's Grand Assembly Hall, fell silent as the lone human figure stepped through the towering obsidian doors. Commander Marcus Chen moved with deliberate precision, his worn leather boots echoing against the crystalline floor that had witnessed the rise and fall of 1,000 civilizations. Behind him, no delegation followed. No advisors whispered strategies. No guards flanked his approach. He walked alone. The assembled representatives of 47 species watched with a mixture of curiosity and barely concealed disdain. To them, humanity was a cosmic joke, a species so young that their homeworld's oldest trees predated their entire recorded history. The Zeltharian ambassadors' gill slits fluttered with amusement, while the crystalline Vorthak delegates' form shimmered with what could only be interpreted as contempt. "The Council recognizes the human representative," announced Councillor Vithara, her 6 eyes fixed upon Chen with the cold indifference of someone addressing an insect. "You stand accused of violating the Cosmic Preservation Treaty by refusing to surrender your species' expansion rights to the hegemony. How do you answer these charges?" Chen stood in the center of the vast chamber, dwarfed by beings that towered above him. The nearest delegate, a gas-wreathed entity from the Nebula Consortium, could have crushed him with a thought. The machine intelligence representing the Silicon Dominion processed information faster than his entire species combined, yet none of them moved as he reached into his jacket. "I brought something," Chen said, his voice carrying despite its quiet tone. He withdrew a small tattered piece of blue cloth attached to a simple metal rod. The fabric was faded, patched in places, and bore the distinctive pattern of stars and stripes that had once flown over a small planet in an unremarkable solar system. Laughter rippled through the assembly, or what passed for laughter among species with vocal cords, electromagnetic resonance chambers, and pheromone dispensers. "A primitive textile," scoffed Ambassador Kithos of the Trade Federation, his translator rendering his chittering sounds into basic. "Is this supposed to impress us?" Chen planted the small flag beside his feet. "This flag flew over a place called Normandy Beach, where humans died to stop genocide. It flew over Everest when humans climbed higher than any earthbound creature had gone before. It flew on the moon of Luna, when humans first reached beyond their world. And it flew on the generation ship Endeavor when humans chose exile over surrender." The chamber's acoustics carried his words to every corner, but Chen wasn't finished. "You want to know about humans? We're the species that looked at the impossible and said, 'Watch us.' When the Dakari plague swept through the outer rim, wiping out entire worlds, who volunteered to carry medical supplies through hostile space? Humans. When the void wraiths threatened to consume the Andorian colonies, who stayed behind to hold the line while evacuations proceeded? Humans. Councillor Vithara's exoskeleton clicked with irritation. "Sentiment will not change the law. Your species lacks the technological advancement to qualify for expansion rights. The territories you claim will be administered by the hegemony." "Administered," Chen repeated, letting the word hang in the air. "Like you administered the Keth homeworld? Strip-mined it bare and left the survivors on reservation planets? Like you administered the Yelan culture? Erased their language and called it cultural integration?" The hegemony representative, a massive creature of shadow and hunger, stirred at this. "You dare question the hegemony's methods, human?" Chen stepped forward, and something in his movement made several delegates lean back despite themselves. "I don't question them. I reject them entirely." "You reject?" Councillor Vithara began, but Chen's voice cut through her words like a blade through silk. "I reject a council that calls expansion qualification-based, while genocide runs rampant under your watch. I reject a law that measures worth by technology while ignoring character. And I reject any authority that demands humans bow to beings who've forgotten what it means to have a soul." The silence that followed was different now. It wasn't the quiet of boredom or dismissal. It was the silence of a gathering that had suddenly realized they might have misjudged their quarry. Chen reached into his other pocket and produced a small device. The readings it displayed made every scanner in the chamber scream alerts. "This is a quantum resonance beacon," Chen said conversationally. "Right now it's transmitting our conversation to every human colony, every ship, every settlement from here to the Magellanic Clouds. They're not just listening, they're volunteering." The display screens around the chamber flickered to life, showing transmission after transmission. Human vessels changing course. colonies preparing defensive positions, entire fleets converging on council space. You see, there's something you never understood about humans, Chen continued, his voice carrying the weight of his entire species. We don't fight because we're strong. We fight because we choose to be strong. And we don't stand alone because we have to. We stand alone because we know someone has to. The flag beside his feet fluttered slightly in the chamber's artificial atmosphere, and for the first time in the Assembly's 1,000-year history, not a single delegate spoke. Chen smiled, not with arrogance or malice, but with the quiet confidence of someone who had made peace with the consequences of his choices. You can try to take our worlds. You can send your fleets and your enforcers. But understand this, we won't surrender, we won't bow, and we won't break. We're human. It's what we do. As he turned to leave, his footsteps echoing in the absolute silence, the quantum beacon continued its steady pulse. Across the galaxy, humanity had heard the call, and the stars trembled, knowing war was coming. Chen walked out the same way he had entered, alone, carrying nothing but a flag and the unshakable conviction that some things were worth fighting for. No matter the odds, the Council would learn what humanity had always known. Sometimes, one person standing in the right place at the right time could change everything. The war that followed would be remembered as the day the galaxy discovered that humans didn't need permission to be free.